Assalamualaikum. In this video, I'm going to show you how we can actually create a Java graphical user interface. Specifically, in this tutorial, we are going to look into how to create menu bar. As you can see here, this is one of the example of our hostel management system graphical user interface where we have a simple menu bar here. And within this menu bar, we have file and also help. This is the first thing that we're going to learn how to do. And the second thing is how to add in the sub item within the menu bar itself and also the menu itself. And finally, about how to create a pop-up dialog box. So for example, in this case, if we click on file, if we click on exit, then the graphical user interface or the program will be exit. And if we click on hub and we click on about, it will pop up a dialog box here, which show some of the informations related to the system. Right, now let's look into the coding that we have here. I've already write down the coding here. So as you can see, basically we use the two libraries here for Java GUI. We have Swing and also Advanced Window Toolkit AWT here. Then we create a public class, hostel management graphical user interface, and within that class, we declare our main method in line 15. Okay, you might have familiar with creating frame previously. So no matter whether you're adding in menu bar, you're adding in label or whatever component you first need to, or we first need to create a J frame. So in this case, we are creating a J frame here, as you can see in line 17, with the name hostel management system. That's what you see here. Okay, so I'm going to drag it to the right. Hostel management system. I've set the size of my frame to 400 width and also 300 height. Okay. And then I set the default close operations, exit on close, and also set the locations relative to null. So basically for this line 20, it means that whenever I run the programs, the GUI, this graphical user interface will pop up or will shown at the center of the screen like this. Okay. And as I've mentioned previously, what we want to focus on this tutorial is to create the menu bar. So what we do here is we first create a menu bar object on line 23 here. Okay, where we use J menu bar. The name of my object is menu bar is equal to new J menu bar. The concept is very much similar to what you have learned previously on creating a scanner object, right? You have scanner, my scanner equal to new scanner system.in. Next, I'm going to create the file menu. Okay, so what's the difference between this menu bar and also file menu here? And of course, we have the help menu. So the menu bar is actually this whole bar here, as you can see. I've moved it in using my mouse cursor. This is the menu bar. I then add the file menu. So here, this is the file menu. And if you skip a little bit and go to line 33, you see the help menu. So this is the help menu. So the concept is the same here where I have J menu. I create an object of J menu, which I call it as file menu is equal to new J menu file. Okay. So this is the one that's shown here, file. Okay. And then we skip a little bit on the J menu item. Now let's move on to a line 32. Here you have J menu, help menu, right? Help menu will be this one next to the file menu. Okay, right. So when I click on the file, I have this exit. So how can I do that is I create a J menu item object. So here I call this object as exit item and I name it as exit, right? And then here again under the help menu, right? When I click on it, you have the about here. So this another J menu item about item is equal to new J menu item about, right? So of course I can change this, right? So for example, this exit, I can change it to close, right? just for the sake of example. Now, if I close this, remember just now it's file exit. Now, if I close this and I go to, I need to save this first. I go to run. I run my project. And you can see here when I click on the file, this is close, right? Okay. So of course, you can change it back to exit later on. Now, I have these. I then add the what we call it as the action listener to the exit item, because what I want to do is in this specific case is when I click on the file, it shows me the menu item. So you can add as many menu item as you like. But when I click on this menu item, so in this case will be close. It will trigger system exit, meaning it will close the whole graphical user interface here. Right? That's why I use exit item dot add action listener. You should have learned that previously as well. Add action listener means it listens to any action or it listens to any actions from the user. So in this case will be when I click on close. It listens to my click action. And then what will it trigger is it gonna close the graphical user interface. Okay, that will be line 28. The same concept goes to the about item, right? So about item, I also use add action listener, as you can see here. And when when the user click on this about item, it will trigger this show about dialog. Okay, show about dialog, which we are going to look into later on. So basically here is when the user click on the about item, it will trigger the method that we call it as the show about dialog, that we're going to see what it will do, right? Now, we already have the file, the menu object, the menu item object. Now we are going to add all these object layer by layer. What does it mean by layer is, for example, now, because I want to associate the exit item that I have created with the file menu object, right? File menu object, because I want it to be when I click on file, it will shows me the close menu item. So what I need to do is I'm going to add, okay, on line 29, I'm going to add the exit item to my file menu. The similar concept goes to the help menu, right? So I want to attach the about menu item to the help menu. So how can I do it is I'm going to add the about item here. I'm going to add the about item to my help menu, okay? To my help menu. Okay, so that's the first thing that we do. We add the menu item to my menu. Now, next, I'm going to add here, as you can see in the command here, I'm going to add the menus to the menu bar. Remember just now, I create the menu bar, right? I create the menu bar. Now, I'm going to add the file and also the help menu into my menu bar. So what I can do is I'm going to do menu bar, the one which I have created earlier. I use the same function here, add. What I'm going to add, I'm going to add the file menu. This is the first one. And then I'm going to add the help menu, right? Help menu. Okay, so that's what I mean by we add it layer by layer. So first we add the menu item to the menu, then we add the menu to the menu bar. Okay, then we're gonna now set the menu bar to the frame. Okay, we need to attach, if you like, I use the word attach. I need to attach the whole menu bar here to the frame that I've created from line 17 to line 20. So I create a frame. Okay, I've created the menu bar object and all these different types of object. Now I'm going to attach it back to the frame one by one. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add the or set the menu bar to the frame. So here I'm going to use the set J menu bar functions. So I do frame. Frame is the one that I've created earlier, as I said, from line 17 to 20. And I add the menu bar. So where's the menu bar? Menu bar is the one that I've created in line 23. Okay, so you can see here, I add things back layer by layer, one by one. And finally, I have this welcome label. this is one of the component that we have learned previously, JLabel. So the function is just to show the message here, welcome to the hostel management system. So I put that label into my frame. So I create a JLabel here, welcome label. I add the welcome label to the frame. Okay, and finally I set the frame to visible. Okay, set visible equal to true. Now, remember back in line 34, okay, whenever the user click on the about menu item, it will trigger a method which we call it as show about dialog, right? So now we're going to look into what is this show about dialog doing here, right? So if we go back to our graphical user interface, when we click on help and we click on about, it will show or it will pops up a message, an about message that related to the system. So for this example is we say this is hostel management system version 1.0 developed by Cikgu Coding. So how we can actually do this is that, okay, of course, we need to add the action listener, and then we have a method here, show about dialog, which again, it means that when I click on the about, okay, it will trigger the show about dialog method. Now, let's look into more detail. What is this show about dialog method doing? So it's all spelled out in between line 53 to line 60. So we have a private static void method, which is a non-written type method, which we call it as the show about dialog, right? And then of course we have the parameter with the type component. This is specifically for the graphical user interface and parents here. But what I want to really highlight here is about the method or the built-in method show message dialog. Okay, so we can actually use J option pane, okay, dot show message dialog to customize the message that we are going to show whenever we click on the about item, right? So now let's go back here again. Just to recall, when I click on about, it will show this hostel management system version 1 developed by Cikgu Coding, and you have the OK here. So this is what that I have customized here, right? So for example, the message is hostel management system on line 56, yeah? Hostel management system version 1.0 developed by Cikgu Coding. And then I have the about, which is the title here. Okay, and then I have this message type is information message. That's why you have this symbol here. Okay, so this is what will be trigger the show about dialog when the user click on the about item. Okay, and this is the one of the built-in function, show message dialog. Right. So basically, through this very short tutorial, hopefully you are able to know how to actually create menu bar. Okay, create the menu bar. So in this case, again, we have this menu bar here with two menu items, which is file and also help. And you should also know by the end of this tutorial on how to add menu item to this menu here, right? So for example, I add the um, close menu item to the file menu. Okay, and finally, we look into one example on how to trigger or show a dialog box when we click on the menu item. Specifically, in this case, is when we click on the about menu item, it will pop out a dialog box like this, usually using the show message dialog. So I think that's all for this tutorial. Thank you very much.